I got it. That was very good.
Nice.
In video.
Hi, Rabbi.
Hello.
Some of them just don't stick.
Wait, might you be able to pass the host on or add as a host?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have to press them down. Really good.
Do you want to mute it? Or no?
Mm-hmm.
Can you reach it?
So are you able to hear Bonnie with
you're
her
on the block.
normal voice? She does not have to yell.
Not that.
Are you able to hear her?
Talk at the block. No, talk.
Let her test her voice.
Hi.
Mute the other people who are talking.
Hi, Rabbi.
Hello. Hi, Bonnie.
Happy Tisha B'Av.
Okay, so Bonnie, say a few words to Rabbi, see if she can hear it.
Welcome, everybody. This is a sound check to make sure everybody can hear me okay.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
You're getting lots of thumbs up.
I'm turning you up, though, on my computer.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Oh, good. You can hear me, Laurel. Good.
Yeah, I see you too.
Okay, good.
Okay, so that's working.
We want to give everybody time to log on. So it's just, I don't know if I have the correct time, 10 to 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bonnie's picture should be coming on everybody's screen as more like full size. Am I correct?
Well, on yours, it's if we pin her, everyone individually would have to pin her as the main thing that they see.
Okay, so I can have her full screen, no problem. I don't know whether others need that direction or not, so they can see her.
Right. We'll pass that on. But then also, as it usually seems to work out, is if other people aren't talking, she'll be the one that we see.
Okay, very good.
So I think did that change it? I spotlighted Bonnie, so she should be the big person on everybody's screen. Is that true?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Mhm.
So do I want to unpin her now or leave her pinned?
Well,
You do whatever you want. Either one works.
I don't know if you can control that. Let me see.
Well, I clicked out of that. I went back to gallery view because I need to be able to see more people at one time. But
Me too. I went back to gallery view too, so I can
Yeah.
see what's there.
So do I cancel spotlight view on my screen now?
well, do you want to see Bonnie, your beautiful wife, instead?
Well, she needs to see herself and the other people
I just
in
want to see the other
in a
people.
grid.
Okay, then you have to go back to gallery view.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
let's do gallery until we start, right?
All right,
Now I see Leora.
Leora's full size right now.
I am life size.
Okay,
And I'm not getting you as full size.
that's okay. Don't
All right.
size me. Super size me.
You can't pin you.
I've never had anything supersized.
Me neither.
I'm not sure we have enough for those little square tiles.
The colored square tiles?
The
These?
white ones. The white ones. No, the little ones.
Oh, you know what? You do have enough, but the trick is to space them out. And that's
Oh.
why the sticky mesh, when my grandchildren did it with me, they started spacing them really tight up here,
Oh, that's what she.
really tight,
Okay.
and by the time they got to the bottom, and that's why we're doing this on sticky mesh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
because
because we were just putting them in the squares and,
Right.
I'll give you the meeting ID.
all right, Grace, that's why, like right here, these are all, you gotta separate these a little,
So,
like these.
hi, Barbara.
One.
Hi, glad to be here.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, I'm.
Yours are all done already.
I only did one.
Okay.
Can I show you?
Sure, I'd love to see it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, beautiful. Hold it closer.
Good
Wow. It looks beautiful.
I use some tiles. I have a lot of this floral. I love the floral sparkle glass, the copper color, and I use that, and I use some
And
other
here we
things
got
that I
these
have.
together.
It looks great.
But I loved it. I love the pattern.
Good. Good, I'm glad. I did a little, I don't know if you guys want to save the pattern, but I did a little collage with just newspaper, dark and light newspaper, and some beans all around the edge. So those who didn't get a kit can color with markers or use the pattern again in some other way.
Do you have an objection to my using that pattern again for with some other, my own work?
No,
And giving, I mean,
absolutely
if I post it on Facebook, I'll give you credit for the design, but I don't want to use your pattern without asking
no,
first.
that would be fine. I don't mind at all. I did. Yeah. Yeah.
I see a baby Rosepka.
Oh, let me see. Where is he?
He's in the corner of the one that has your design on the background here.
Where? I'm not seeing.
You may need to flip through to see others.
Oh, that's awesome. Mike has a camera up overhead so that we can watch him doing it.
Oh, cool.
And then him and
Hi, Mike.
Oren are in the corner.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I was wondering about having a camera above so we could watch you. Maybe at some point we can flip the screen just to that and let them demonstrate.
Where is that?
On Mike's. This is so cool.
This is
It's so nice to see everybody.
And we still have a couple more minutes to let people come in.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Mike has a camera above
Sure,
his.
but I don't see it.
We have a green screen and 2 cameras. So that's why it looks like I'm floating on top of it.
Yeah. Where? Let's
Oh,
see.
It does look like you're floating on top of it.
Oh, so
Huh?
cool.
Hi, Mike.
Hey,
How are you doing? Look how big that baby's getting.
darn it.
My gosh, he's so cute.
We just dumped our container into the glue.
No.
Look at that.
All right.
These things happen.
Leah has to deal with this.
No, you know, if this were regular times, I would have everybody over and I would have big bins of tiles everywhere and people could just grab what they liked. But this really took a lot of figuring out and planning for this kind of a format. So I'm so glad everybody's participating. It's nice to see everybody. Rabbi, did you hear what happened to me yesterday? Well, I was all done with everything and I decided to go for a bike ride on the towpath.
Oh, no.
It's my right hand and my left ribs. And my knee, totally wiped out. Spent the day in the emergency room.
You still have a smile on your face today.
I've got painkillers,
Oh my goodness.
major painkillers.
Refuah shlema.
It's my right hand, so Randy is going to be my right hand today.
Okay.
He had to
Do that anyway?
bless me and do everything for me.
I couldn't do a rhyme.
Did it break? Break anything?
2 bones.
I think 3, but I don't know. I'm going to the hand doctor tomorrow.
Oh.
We're supposed to feel brokenness on Tisha B'Av, but really, as Bonnie
Yeah.
yourself from, you know, you just
Not so
embodied
much the right hand.
it.
That's just 2 broken.
Mm-hmm.
2 broken, 1 in the wrist and 1 on the bottom of my finger.
Right.
Yeah, so didn't have much sleep.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Laurel, you've got your computer back.
Oh, yeah, well, for now, I don't trust it. And I'm sure that something will happen to it in another few days.
You look great. You look great.
But for now,
Yeah.
Bonnie, you'd be better off getting a horse to ride.
Probably.
Safe,
Probably. The horses wouldn't slip on the stones like the bike did.
right.
Yeah. Now, who else is on? I'm not seeing. Sherry, I see
There's some
Sherry.
people that the meeting is not listed on any of the literature. Like Moshe says, where do I go to watch this? I
Send him the email.
I don't have the email.
Jennifer, are you still on?
She's on.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I had it muted because my dog's barking and
Would you be
Life
able,
is crazy.
would you be able to send Moshe the link of, I gave you his email?
I can give it to you. I have it in front of me. It's MOZAR@AOL.com.
MOZAR@AOL.com.
Yes,
If you could-
MOZ@AOL.com.
Got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Sarah. Nice to see you. Who's down there with the
Great
dog?
to see you. I've got my mom.
Hi, Jennifer.
The dogs are Aaron.
Oh, Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Dogs, not kids, huh?
That's right.
They're
And
her-
Hello.
Hi, Jerry. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good, thank you.
I'll mute it back up.
Say hi, Mom. Hi.
Ah,
Louder. I don't hear you when you whisper.
Bonnie, is Esther on? I saw Esther's name on there. Are you on the computer or on the phone?
The words reached the White House. And Lyndon Johnson, son of the South, shall overcome.
Speaking library.
Okay, so
This is on.
That's the eulogy that Obama's giving right now for
Ah,
Representative
yeah.
Lewis.
Oh,
But it will be recorded so we can listen later.
okay.
All right. Yeah, we
It's
have
too
the
far.
ending of this program with a quote from John Lewis. So, okay, Rabbi.
Okay, so we're going to begin. Thank you all for joining. It looks like everyone who is here has gotten a kit, but in case you haven't, you can use the coloring page as well, as we're going to be moving forward. But in commemoration of Tisha B'Av, we begin with a nigun, with a wordless melody, and please feel free to sing along. You are muted, so we won't hear you, and you should then sing especially loudly.
Ay, 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 nay, 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 ay, nay, 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 nam. Ay, nay, nay, ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 day, 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 dum. Ay, day, day, ay, day, day, ay, day, day, dum. You can try it with me. Day, na, na, ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 day, day, ay, day, 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 day. Ay, ay, day, 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 dum. Do, ay, 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 nay, 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 ay, nay, 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 dum. Ay, 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 yo.
So again, welcome. Thank you for being here. As many of you, I'm sure, know, today is the 9th of Av. That's what Tisha B'Av means. And it appears at this time when there are no other holidays or major observances in the summer. It is a memorial of destruction and loss, not just of the two temples in Jerusalem, but also of calamities of the Jewish people throughout history. And our tradition makes a deliberate connection between the 9th of Av and the High Holy Days that are just 7 weeks away now. And you notice that symbolism of the number 7, and that the month of Tishrei, that is the beginning of our Jewish New Year, is also the 7th month of the year. So we connect already to the idea that even though we're in destruction, we're moving towards hope and towards renewal. And I'd like to invite you to just think about what the connection could be between this day of our national calamity and loss and the beginning of our Jewish New Year. That even though it might feel far away, Rosh Hashanah might feel far away, it is close, and it is closing in the big picture. And so we are today, especially, and with Bonnie's help, we are thinking about hope. We are working towards hope, even in this day of loss and destruction. Bonnie, did you want to now introduce the project and talk about how it came about?
Sure. Thank you, Rabbi. I want to thank you so much for asking me to create this special project to recognize the holiday of Tisha B'Av. And it's a sad holiday when our people remember suffering and loss throughout our history for thousands of years. And this idea of suffering and loss certainly resonates with all of us today. And like so many other people, I've been feeling particularly helpless and hopeless. And when I started working on this project, it was right after the tragic death of George Floyd and all of the Black Lives Matters protests. And to be honest, it was really hard for me to try to create something beautiful or pretty or colorful, but I worked at it and came up with this idea. I picked up my nippers and I started to piece together these hands of hope. And I hope that by sharing this project with others, we can all begin to heighten the awareness and the empathy for all those who are suffering. I decided to use the idea of a hand, the theme of a hand, since hands have been a really important symbol in Jewish, Muslim, and Christian traditions. Hands are symbols for creativity, for blessing, and for divine protection. And as young children, one of the first things we learn to do is raise our hands to ask permission to speak. We also raise our hands to make oaths and to protest and to surrender. And we stretch our hands out to others, not in this time, but in other times, and hopefully in times in the future, we'll be able to stretch our hands out to help and to comfort other people. I used many colors to create the dark and the light areas in these hands. And that's kind of the cool thing about mosaic art. It's not just one color. And I think the more beautiful pieces of mosaic I've seen are combinations of many different colors. And if you look closely at all the tiles that I've given you in your kit, you can see they're shiny and dull and sharp and smooth. All different kinds of tiles make up this picture. Now, I've been creating mosaic art for over 25 years, and I really believe that mosaic art is a metaphor for life. When you see all these pieces jumbled together and you just throw them out of your bag onto the table, it's just chaos. It's not until you start to place each piece next to the other piece, when you start to notice and you start to pay attention to the relationship of one piece to another, you start to see every single little piece, no matter how inconsequential, it's made more beautiful when it's surrounded by others. So you'll see in this project, every piece has its place. Every piece gives the picture meaning. So we will begin together. We have a prayer. Rabbi, if you want to lead us in the prayer for artists.
So first, we're going to do just a very short text study. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Give me 1 second to do that. We're going to be looking at just one text together, but that's hopefully going to help us understand this movement into a sense of hope. So let's see. Okay. So this is from the Talmud, from Makot. And is there anybody who wants to volunteer to read the text for us? I can't see everyone's hand, so if you just want to unmute yourself and read, that would be awesome.
I can do it.
Thanks, Debbie.
Rabbi Akiva and his companions were traveling past the site of the destroyed temple in Jerusalem. When they arrived at the Temple Mount, they saw a fox coming out of the place that had been the Holy of Holies. They began weeping, and Rabbi Akiva was laughing. They said to him, "For what reason are you laughing?" Rabbi Akiva said to them, "For what reason are you weeping?" They said, "This is the place that was once so holy that only priests could tread there, and now foxes walk in it. Shall we not weep?" Rabbi Akiva said to them, "That is why I'm laughing. In the prophecy of Uriah, it is written, 'Therefore, for your sake, Zion shall be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become rubble, and the Temple Mount as the high places of the forest, where foxes are found.' In the prophecy of Zechariah, it is written, 'God will return to Zion and dwell in Jerusalem. The Jerusalem will be called the faithful city, and the mountain of the Lord Almighty will be called the holy mountain.' This is what the Lord Almighty said. Once again, men and women of ripe old age will sit in the streets of Jerusalem. Each of the," and then I'm being blocked, I can't see the rest.
There we go.
There we go. "Each of them with cane in hand because of their age. The city streets will be filled with boys and girls playing there." Now that the prophecy of Uriah was fulfilled, it is evident that the prophecy of Zechariah will also be fulfilled. The sages said to him, "Akiva, you have comforted us. Akiva, you have comforted us."
So what is the reason that Rabbi Akiva is laughing? Can someone answer that?
Yes.
It appears he's happy because he's following the prophecies, and it gives him strength and joy and a chance to laugh in all the destruction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he understands that if one prophecy was fulfilled, which was the prophecy of destruction, then another prophecy of the rebuilding must be fulfilled as well, must be also going to be something that is fulfilled. Sarah, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, it's as if he already sees in the future redemption of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the redemption will be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's able to feel joyful in his hope and faith and belief that another time is going to come, even though they're walking past and he's in a moment of where the temple is destroyed and there is destruction and desolation, that nonetheless he can have the faith of the possibility of something different. And I think that's one of the things that we can take with us into this day, but into our lives in general, is the notion that we are just experiencing a small slice of time right now. And though there are many challenges to it, that we can look at the bigger picture, that it can lead us towards a place of rebuilding and a place of happiness and more lives being acknowledged and loved and embraced. And so that is the direction that we all hope that we're moving in, and we're able to see that even within the challenges that we're facing today. If someone who is here, because you had the card for the blessing of the blessing of creation of art, is there someone who's participating who would like to read that blessing for us?
Oh, she has.
Didn't feel like I was the one who was going to do. Oh. And he, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu v'natan banu et hayetzer lahader ulyafot et mechotav yehiyu l'ratzon. Oh, let's see, I can't see it now. Ma'aye, no, Yaseh Yadenu v'hegyon libenu ba'ot sheva yirah v'hodaya.
Amen. Does someone want to read it for us in English as well? You see the English is beautifully scribed in between the Hebrew.
It's on the right on the screen.
I'll read it. This is Barbara. Blessed are you, Lord our God, creator of the universe, who has sanctified us and given us the desire to enhance and beautify your commandments. May it be your will that the work of our hands and the meditations of our hearts be a sign of gratitude, reverence, and praise. Amen.
Amen. So now we're going to move into a short meditation that's just with the very beginning of, many of you might have already opened your bags and taken out the pieces. And so you want to get your bag of mosaic pieces ready in particular. So one of the things that Bonnie and I had spoken about is, as Bonnie said, the sort of messiness of the beginning of creation. The antecedent to creation is sort of this messiness. And we know that that's true in the very beginning of the book of Torah in Breshit, in Genesis as well, that it tells us, V'ha'aretz hayta tohu vavohu v'choshech al pnei tehom, v'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim. The text says, the earth being unformed and void, with darkness over the surface of the deep, and a wind from God sweeping over the water. So there was this unformed and void, and from that creation came. So again, just we're gonna do a meditation with your bag of mosaic pieces. So get that bag of mosaic pieces ready. And just hold it in your hands for a moment. In the beginning, there is chaos, the sky, the sea, gas, pieces everywhere, nothing connected, lacking oneness, spinning out randomly. A vision is obscured. So if you haven't yet, can open that bag and spill out the pieces, allowing them to scatter all over the table, perhaps, or to whatever far reaches they go as you open the bag and you allow them to come out. Perhaps they land in a pile, perhaps they really do scatter out. And just let them sit there for a moment. Sadness was on the face of the dark and deep. Light does not exist, but the Spirit of God hovers. And you can allow your hands to slowly touch the pieces. God begins to breathe and move to shift the elements into a place and space that makes sense. So begin to use your hands as the hands of God. Begin to put your mosaic pieces into categories. Find pieces that match. Count your pieces. The broken pieces are part of a whole. A vision of coming together is possible. One piece at a time, with trust and faith. Have a picture in your mind of the final product of this mosaic hand that you're going to make. The final product of a whole heart in yourself. the final product of a peaceful world for all of us. Have a picture in your mind of the final product. Allow it to form and to come into vision, to have at least the seeds of what each of these look like: the hand, your heart, and the world. A mess can be cleaned. The broken can become whole. It only takes a little vision, a little putting the pieces together, some patience in the process of piecing together, of building again. And we know that creation is renewed each and every day, that we are told in our tradition that every single day God remakes the world. And so every day we can approach with piecing things back together, with having a vision of wholeness, and to working on that wholeness as a community. Bonnie, if you'd now like to guide us through the actual process here, please.
Sure. So that was beautiful, Rabbi. I wish I had that every day before I start doing my work. Very inspiring. I put together these kits for our participants, and on the front you can see whether you have a dark hand or a light hand. So use that like you would the lid to your jigsaw puzzle, for instance. So you can use that as a guide. And I hope everybody got a chance to read through the directions, the instruction packet. And before we start, I just want to make sure everybody understands that I hand cut these tiles. There's over 150 tiles in each kit, and the edges are sharp. So be careful. And if little kids are working on this, when you grout and you spread your hand across it, you could very easily cut yourself. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of being safe. If we were doing this in my studio, when we nip the tiles, you would wear goggles as well. But I made all the difficult decisions for you, this being a virtual project. So I picked out all the colors of the tiles. I came up with the pattern, and there's a piece of paper that is parchment paper that you want to save because you'll use that in the next step. And I picked out the substrate for you, which is a kind of board that can be used outside or inside. And on top of that is this sticky mesh material. And it might seem a little odd for you to be working on this, but Andrea, for instance, said to me that her granddaughter was working on these small little tiles and she thought she didn't have enough. One thing you have to remember about mosaic art is that every tile has to have a piece, has to have space in between. So the sticky mesh allows you to make changes. And sometimes when I'm working in my studio, I put things together and then maybe I'm not real happy with it, or I'm not sure if I'm finished, and walk away from it. Just know that you're not going to finish this project today because the glue takes time to dry. So whatever you do today, just work slowly and consciously and try to see the beauty in every piece. I wanted you also to make sure that you don't throw away this little, maybe insignificant looking bag, because it has your letters for the word hope. And they're vinyl letters and they can't go on until after the grout is dry. So this little bag can kind of get swept away in all the mess of the grouting. And you have a weld bond glue, the sponges, and you will begin. The best way to begin and the easiest way to begin, especially for a beginner, is to start with the very little pieces, the very tiniest pieces that form the outline of the hand, these. So you should start there. And I also wanted to introduce Leora Cohen. Leora, can you put your screen on? Leora is going to act as our moderator, and as we're going through this and as we're working on this together, if you raise your hand and have any questions, Leora will unmute you and you can ask your questions. So please participate and feel free to ask any questions you have. I also made some changes. These were the original designs, and I had these absolutely beautiful African tiles that I had used in a big project that I did, and I decided that the core, the centerpiece of these hands should be these beautiful, unique, handmade African tiles. So at the core, at the heart, we're all the same, and I thought that was a really nice symbol. So please start with the very, very smallest tiles and do the outline of your hand first, and that's going to line everything up. You'll have a much easier time if you do it that way. And then if you've sorted your tiles already, or if you haven't, just be aware that there are 14 angled tiles right here, and they form the bottom of the hand. They had to be angled just a bit to be curved. I put some extra pieces in every kit, and everybody has everybody's hand will be a little bit different. So you'll have to recognize that these spaces will be slightly different for everybody. Just pick, if one doesn't look right, pick another one and keep going and use those curved tiles around the bottom. So if everybody wants to work on just those two parts, the smallest tiles on the outside, this curve on the bottom, that should get you a good start. Does anybody have any questions so far? Has anybody gone further? I know Barbara has completed hers. If she wants to show that to everybody, that would be great.
I'm making a second one so I can have a black hand and a white hand.
Okay.
The first one I did.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I see Debbie had her hand up.
Yes, I'm missing the grout in my bag.
Oh, no.
So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not there. I emptied the whole
We'll
bag.
drop it off to you. You won't need that till, that's the last part.
I'm not worried.
You've got the glue, right?
Yes, I got everything else.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
I see that Ellen has her hand up here.
Right, I have to do the grouting. That's the last part.
That's the last part. Don't worry about that until after the glue dries.
Dries. Well, I did it yesterday. Well, I have to say that I didn't realize the bag was the pattern. So I went ahead and did a white hand because I was sure I didn't want a brown hand. And then I looked at it and I said, and then quite by accident, I brushed it and everything went off onto the table. So I had to start again, and I said, well, this time I'll do a brown hand. And I actually like it much better. It looks much better as a brown hand. And then I didn't glue it, and I went to bed, and I got up in the morning, and I said, oh no, I think because I had put a little white piece in here because I thought I wanted it just to be, and then I thought, nah, that doesn't look good. So I was thinking about Bonnie, who was making that beautiful tiling that we have in the small sanctuary in the Gross Chapel, and how you said you put it down and then you would say, oh no, I don't like the way it looks. And I said, oh, I feel just like Bonnie Cohen. I feel so good. Thank you. What did you do to your arm? Your arm.
That's so nice, Ellen.
Thank you very
Well, that's
much.
why I said it's really important to just take your time with it, enjoy looking at the pieces up close, and step away from it for a few minutes and come back and see if you want to change things around. But just so you know, I had to figure out, this is my guide for how many pieces went in each kit for each color hand. So there was a lot of figuring out to, you know, first I had to make them, and then I had to take all the pieces up and count them. So what you have in your kit is a result of this. Everybody might have a few extras when you get to the parts, right? The triangles here and here are triangles, and here are triangles. I don't know if you can see those, but I put extras in everybody's because depending on how people space their tiles out, some pieces will fit better than others. So don't be afraid to take pieces off and move them around. That's why the mosaic mesh is so nice to work with.
I see Susan has her hand up.
Okay.
Oh no, I think I was just putting it on my face.
No,
but thank you anyway. No,
Susan Oshtro has hers on.
Susan
Oh,
Oshtro.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Two questions.
Yes.
Please, Susan.
Bonnie, on the first one that we showed you, the tiles seem rather close together. Is that okay?
Hold it up close to the camera so I can see. I'm going to go over to the monitor.
Way to do it.
No. Hold on just a second. Oh gosh, where's the flip button?
Oh, Leah, you're doing such a great job. That's so great to have an overhead camera. I can see yours coming together. So nice.
Thank you. This is all
Oh,
because
Debbie,
of Mike.
you got yours done. It looks beautiful. That's wonderful.
What about just the mesh on it?
Mom, just wait a minute.
Bonnie, I just want to say thank you so much. This is a tremendous amount of work that you put in to prepare. It's amazing. Thank you.
It was a labor of love.
Bonnie, can you see it?
Let's see. Yes, I can see it. Pan back a little bit. I can just see the top of it. It looks great.
So do the tiles have to be to the edge of the board?
They should be just a tiny bit in. That's a really good question. They should just be a tiny bit inside of the board because the grout will, you know, continue around the edge. And you can see a really good example right here of what happens when you grout it. I go back here. When you grout it, sorry. When you grout it, you can see this is the white hand not grouted here, and this is the white hand grouted. So the grout is kind of like the
border is the grout. The
icing
grout will go around the border.
Okay, we have a second question.
Okay.
Because we haven't glued yet, so two of it. You take two people to pick it up. We have
yes,
to.
Randy. I have a little story.
Okay.
There's a Yiddish saying that is, man plans and God laughs, right? Has anybody heard that saying before? So I worked for probably 6 weeks putting all this together and planning out everything and writing the directions and figuring out the pattern and cutting all these pieces. And I had everything done yesterday. My remarks and everything was completely done, and I decided to take advantage of the beautiful towpath trail that we have, and I went out on my bike ride, and this is what happened. So so Randy is going to be my right hand. I broke 2 bones, one in my wrist and one in my finger, and I'm on painkillers, and Randy is going to be my right hand man for this next part where I'm going to show you how to glue. And this is the most difficult part of the project. And once you get through this part, you'll be home free. So Randy, my assistant, if you'd like to come over. Here. So I have made one that is not glued yet, and I'm going to show you and talk Randy through what you're going to do. You know the piece of paper that came on top, the piece of parchment paper, you save that. And you might want to, before you start this, you might want to cover everything with newspaper in case you spill a little bit of glue so you don't ruin your tabletop. Okay? So this is the most difficult part. Before you start, just make sure that you have, you know, just touched all the tiles, especially on the edge. When you're lifting it, it's not going to mess up all these little tiles and all the tiles in here that were the hardest to place. But some of your outer tiles might fall off. Don't worry about it because you have plenty of time. Lift it from both sides. It's a little sticky, and set it onto the piece of parchment paper. And then you're going to untape the pattern.
While you're working on that, Bonnie, I see that Marcia has a question. I'm not sure if it's a glue-related question or not.
Okay.
No, it's a tile-related question. So I took all my little white tiles and put them on the outline, and I'm 5 tiles short. So do I use some of the little orange tiles that are the same size?
No, you just space them out more.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
You can, you know, you can try to use more space in between them. They should have like a 1/16 of an inch in between. I'll bring this up close so you can see. Okay.
I see a hand down here, Delphinia.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Hi, Delphinia.
You might have to unmute yourself. It's not letting me unmute you from here. Sorry about that. I see you have your glove on.
Okay, so we untaped the pattern. Take the pattern off. At a later time, you can use the pattern however you want, make another mosaic. You can copy it and make a collage with newspaper pieces and beans and lentils and something else. Just feel free to share that pattern with anybody that you would like to. I just use newspaper, dark and light newspaper for that. Okay.
All right, she is unmuted.
Okay, hi Delphinia.
Hello everyone. Bonnie, this is the most wonderful project.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you working on yours now?
You know something, I just started, and it's funny, I got this thought in my mind, maybe I should just run on across, visit Bonnie and Randy. I am putting my little tiles around.
Okay.
Now you're saying that the glue itself, I should start putting my glue in?
No, your sticky mesh, you just start placing the tiles on the sticky mesh. And that will hold it in place until you're all done. Put all the tiles down. No glue yet.
All right.
Okay. I'm demonstrating with Randy the second part, and don't feel any need to rush. You know, we were just talking about walking away from your work table and then coming back to it and looking at if you would like to change something around. That's absolutely fine. So
that's what you want.
Yeah, you'll be lifting that mesh.
I see it.
With all the tiles up off of the base. And then you have more glue than you will need. But Randy's going to show how to open the lid of the glue because I cannot do that. And I would dump out. Ellen, how much glue did you end up using? About half?
I have glue left and I started, you had said 2 tablespoons, or I just took just a couple of drops in the center and I worked out to the side. So I kept smoothing it and spreading it.
Yeah, so I would dump out about half of what you have in your container. Randy will show you, he's gonna do that now. I would start in the middle. And you want to make sure you cover the entire surface of the board, all the way to the edges, because every single one of the tiles that you put on there has to have some contact with the glue. And you shouldn't see any of the board, like here and here. It should just be like you're icing a cake. You don't want to see any of the cake underneath. Just icing.
I'm having such a good time watching everybody work.
I know, it's great, isn't it? While you're all working, I do have another story about one time I was teaching a Hebrew high school class, and the theme of the class was Hebrew calligraphy. And the kids in the class made their own Seder plates. And the final class was writing with glaze on their ceramic Seder plates. It was really hard to do. It's something that's really, really hard for me to do. Using glaze, writing on unglazed china, the Hebrew words for all the parts of the Seder plate. And I always began my class with a prayer, just like we began today with a prayer for the work of our hands. And at the end of the class, I was so impressed and so happy with all the students. And I said, I just have to tell you, this was really, really hard. And you did a wonderful job, and I'm just so proud of you. And one boy raised his hand and said, Mrs. Cohen, it was the prayer. So I hope that that prayer is bringing a sense of comfort and hope, and I have every confidence that every one of these hands is going to come out beautiful.
In using the knife, it's very helpful to try not to use it as an edge, but to use the flat side. I don't know if you noticed, as I was buttering it, I used the flat side and it covered very evenly and very smoothly. If you can see now, it's completely covered, but I did not use the edge of the knife. I used the flat side of the knife.
The key is to not let any of the backer board show through, and you missed the spot here on the edge. Okay. And this part is a good part for the younger kids to do, and then the parents can kind of make sure they've got it all covered. So when that's done, you're going to take your mesh very carefully. You're gonna line up, just try to line up one side. You have plenty of time, the glue's not going to dry, and you'll have time to shift it around a little bit. You can wipe off the edges, the excess glue if you want, but bring it back here, Randy. I'll show you. One thing, after you glue, this is a really important step. Just take and touch each tile. There's time to adjust them. If some of them are a little off center or crooked or touching or shifted a little bit, touch each tile and make sure that that glue is coming up through the mesh and that you have good contact. If you get through this part, you've got it made, because this is the most difficult part. Just take all those little tiles in the middle and just touch them real carefully. You can make adjustments now.
Making me want to help you now with your big projects.
So is anybody gluing right now, or is everybody mostly putting their tiles together?
I see a few people with their hands
Tiles.
up that they're gluing.
Okay. Well, Ellen, you did a good job. I'm glad you walked away and were able to make some changes.
Thank you, Bonnie.
It's
This
a
was
process.
really a treasure to do. I have some tiles left from when we redid a bathroom, and they're very shiny. And when I went to first flooring, they said put them in a bag and take a hammer and break them up and then paste them on a board. What kind of a board is this?
This is called, this one is called Go Board. But there's other boards called Weedy Board, and it's any board that they would use in a bathroom situation. I have lots of scraps. We bought big 4x8 pieces for this, and Randy cut them. So if you want a scrap, I'm glad to, anybody who wants scraps to use more tiles, I'm glad to give them to you. You can break
Thank you.
pieces of chipped china, you know, grandmother's cups that were chipped and you want to treasure and make a little plaque out of. And the glue is called Weld Bond. Anybody can email me to give you a list of the types of materials that I use. This is exactly the material that I use in my work.
Bonnie, I have a question about the grout. Is it outdoor friendly or is it indoor only?
No, it's all out. Everything on here is outdoor friendly.
So if we wanted to put it in our garden, we could?
Absolutely, yes.
One of my most treasured items that I have, my mother at one time took a mosaic class with a cousin, and they made for me a piano bench with a mosaic on top. They worked on the project, and I keep it on my front step on my patio. But I keep it covered because of the piano bench. I don't want anything to happen to it.
Yeah, no, this is all outdoor friendly. I wanted to make sure that you could hang it outside your house or inside. If there aren't any other questions, we're going to go ahead and demonstrate the grout, because that's a little bit messy, and I want you to see it beforehand so that you won't be afraid when it comes time to grout. For this, I would suggest, if you can, just do this outside. If you have a table outside, a picnic table, cover it with newspaper before you start. And what you're going to need is your sponge, your gloves. I figured that everyone had a mask around their house. The grout is very fine powder, and you shouldn't inhale it. So just for the part of mixing the grout, you should wear a mask. And measuring is super important on this. You need to have exactly 1/3 cup of water, because I've pre-measured the grout to be compatible with 1/3 cup of water. Okay. Now, very, very slowly so that it doesn't come up into your face.
And I see, Bonnie, you're using a throwaway container, like a recycled container, so you don't ruin one of your plates or bowls.
Right, yes, use a throwaway container. Do not, under any circumstances, put this grout down your sink. It will clog up everything. It turns to cement, basically. So have a wastebasket handy and lots and lots of paper towels. You will need lots of paper towels, newspaper, and a wastebasket. And get that all ready, just like when you're prepping to cook something. Get that all ready. So Randy dumped it all in at once. I was going to suggest that he dumps it in half at a time and starts stirring it up. That's okay. It'll work. And you're going to stir it up. And it should be kind of like thick cake icing.
Does it matter what kind of utensil we use to stir the?
I put some plastic knives in there, and actually when I do my work on big wall pieces, Leah will know this, we use rubber spatulas. So I buy rubber spatulas at the dollar store by the dozen, and that's what I like to grout with. But the plastic knife will work. You need to make sure you have all the lumps out. It should be like cake batter. Yeah. Yeah, if you have time, taking your time with it and you let it set up for 10 minutes, it'll get a little bit thicker. We're just gonna go ahead with it like this right now, just so that I can show you.
I can't really show you the consistency, but right now it's like heavy cream, but as it sits longer, it gets more and more like plaster or putty. And you do want to keep stirring it because that activates the grout so that it's well mixed.
This is a very technical term. It's called smearing it all over the place.
Hey, Bonnie.
Yes.
You can go say hi to Judy Shapiro. Her hand's in a cast too. She fell 2 weeks ago on the towpath.
Oh no.
Yeah, she broke a bone in her wrist.
I couldn't believe when I was in the emergency room, I said, but tomorrow I have to do this project called Hands of Hope. How am I going to do it? So
there must be something in the air.
Because
I fell and I have torn ligament in my leg.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So with a walker.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. So Randy is smearing it all over, and don't be alarmed that you won't be able to see any of your beautiful tiles. They will all be revealed.
So
you just keep smearing it and making sure that you want to know that all that grout is getting in between every single one of the 100 and so tiles that you put down. And we're even going to take it off the edges. You're going to use a sponge that you had in your kit.
Should the sponge be dry?
Yes, don't add any water.
Let this, if yours is as liquidy as this is, let it set up in your project before you start to wipe it off.
Grout is kind of funny. It's almost like bread dough, where on humid days it's thicker and on dry days it's thinner. So it'll work either way, and the measurements should be good.
And as Leora mentioned, if she's going to take it outside, it's going to be very important to get the grout to even go along the edges so that water doesn't get in underneath the tile. So I think they had to do it with that.
Yes.
So I was letting it sit up. Trying to let it sit up.
What a lovely assistant you have there, Bonnie.
What?
What a lovely assistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's good at grouting. And I
should keep him around for a while.
This is yeah, he has been around for a while.
That's why he's so good at the grouting.
This is my least favorite part of mosaics, is the grouting. Okay, at this point he's got it all covered, and now you got the nuts on the back. Wait, don't set it down.
Bonnie, I have a question from Barbara. She wants to know, do you seal the grout any special way when you put pieces outside?
No, I haven't. You can. I know there are products that seal it, but this grout is polymer modified grout, and it has the polymer in it that's a protective. So I'm taking the sponge and And I'm wiping the grout along the side as well, because I want the side to just blend in. So you just keep wiping it off, and you see why the newspaper is so important. Wipe up.
I have a question.
Yep.
Are these easy enough to cut on our own if you don't, because I'm missing a few small ones, and I could just cut these if I could just use a.
You would need nippers to cut them, but I don't think if you put a little more space between your tiles, I don't think you'll be missing them.
Well,
just try to space them out a little more. If anybody does need extra tile, you're welcome to come over, and I can put some bins of tiles out and you can pick out extras.
This process.
We're just wiping off the excess. Pretty soon you'll be able to see the tiles revealed. And you can see I'm wiping it and just dabbing it on the extra newspaper. Okay. All right.
Bonnie, do you need to wait for the glue to dry before you grout?
Yes, you must wait 24 hours. It'll turn clear. You can't grout right after you glue. That's the next day. That's the next day. Hold it up so you can hold it up for me. Okay, you'll be able to see how, a little bit down. You see how the tiles are slowly getting revealed? This is paper towels. You just keep folding and wiping and folding and wiping. Don't throw out the grout right away. As it thickens, just let it sit until you're all done, because there will be places where you might want to add a little extra with your fingers. You notice I'm doing this without gloves.
Andrea and Grace, that's beautiful.
Who?
Oh, Rebecca.
Grace did this.
It's beautiful. Nice job, Grace.
Thank you.
Grace, let me see. I can't see your screen.
Oh. How can Bonnie see my, I don't know.
She brought too many people around.
She just has to get a little closer.
We sped this process up very
Nice
fast. And the grout is wiping out because it's very wet. You will want to allow yourself more time to let the grout set before you move through these steps.
These are grouting gloves. Those are grouting gloves.
Oh, I did it. Okay.
Hold this up so I don't test it. This is about 6 paper towels worth. And you can start to see the tiles appear. And you can see the edges that I just kind of painted the grout along the edges.
As it sets, and then you will be able to wipe it and get all of that off.
Okay, here, put it down. Clean. Keep putting clean newspaper down, and don't forget to throw away your extra paper towels and sponge with in a wastebasket, not down your drain. You can keep rotating your sponge. The sponge is a really good tool for allowing the tiles to show through, and you just keep rotating it around. Don't use water, because this is wet enough. It takes probably, I would say about an hour for the grout to start setting up, stripping off the bottom. That's good. Can everybody see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When the grout is all dry, like the next day, you can take Windex or vinegar and put it on a clean paper towel or a clean cloth, and you can polish the tiles up even more. But you should be able to get all the grout, most of the grout off of the surface of the tile while you're working. You shouldn't let the grout dry like this on the front of the tile because it'll be really hard to clean off.
I have a question here about tiles from Sherry. Do they have to go straight to the edge of the mesh, or should there be a gap?
There is a gap on this. You can see it. We did not go to the edge. That would normally be filled in with drier grout. As the grout sets, then you will be able to leave more grout in there.
Would it be okay if the tiles went all the way to the edge?
Yes, that's fine. Usually when you see mosaic demonstrations on YouTube or something, they do time lapse. So they do the start where you're putting all the grout all over, and then they time lapse about 10 minutes worth of wiping. So I'm doing this in real time, no time lapse, and hoping that yours goes as smoothly as this. I love to see the reveal of what the shiny and matte tiles look like after they've been grouted. Here's mine.
Oh, beautiful, Andrea. I like where you put all of your colored pieces there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The accent color in my house, as Bonnie knows, is orange, so I could use more of those. That's perfect.
Let's see, Andrea. Can you hold it up and let me see? Can you get Andrea's screen on there? If you need more orange, you're welcome to just email me or give me a call. Let's see. Oh, wow. It looks great.
Pretty.
Wow.
Pretty.
I love it.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. It looks great. Okay, so that's
all right. I have another Zoom meeting. I have to go, but
okay.
Thank you. We'll finish it another time.
Oh, Debbie, yours looks beautiful too.
Oh.
I love seeing these finished products coming in.
Yeah. Oh,
Debbie Saferstein, what did, oh, she needed glue or she needed?
She needed grout, and I'll get her the grout. But one thing before you go, when you finish your piece, I want you to make sure that you take it outside and put it on your driveway on a sunny day and take a really good cell phone photo of it and email it to me.
Okay.
Okay, because we're making beautiful cards hopefully by New Year's. So
oh, that'd be cool.
We have a lot of interest in this, and I want everybody's artwork to really shine for the new year. So Leah, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Look at the view she's done.
I know. You set that up so well. You guys should have done the demo. I'm pretty useless here.
Thank you, Bonnie. We have to go.
Okay.
Yep.
Grace and I have to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Andrea. Thank you, Grace. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. And I'm going to show you what I did, but I am going to take it apart because my kids are coming in and I want us to do it together. So,
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
This
so
was
I'll
your
just show you.
Okay.
Here, I don't know if you could see it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
What I did?
Yeah.
We can see part of it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
All right. But now I'm taking it apart.
That's okay.
Yeah, so we could do it together. And I love the whole project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Rabbi, do you want to continue? If there's any more questions, we can continue to the rest of the things that we had planned.
Yes, absolutely. So just, I don't know if I missed it, but you do let everybody know about how you're requesting them to take a photograph of their completed project.
Yeah, I think it's upstairs. I do, I'm trying to think if I have that card here.
Here, Leora just put it on the screen for us. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, there's a picture of it. That's really important to get it done by that date, so that we have time to order the cards in time for New Year's. And I think they'll be really, really beautiful. So I'm so thrilled with how everybody's pieces are coming out so far, and just thank you all for your enthusiasm and support for this project. And I wanted everybody to know that because of your support and doing this project, Beth El is going to be able to donate $1,000 to the local chapter of the NAACP. So I'm really proud of all of you, and just want to thank all the people who helped put the kits together and who drove all the kits to people's houses and delivered them. It was really very, very special. I'm thrilled that we're going to be able to make a nice donation to the NAACP here.
I have a question about if the cards are also going to be available as a fundraiser.
I think so. Yeah, we're going to try to pre-order them on the website, and as soon as I get everybody's pictures back, we'll be able to do a layout and try to figure all that out. So we'll have information on the Beth El website for that. We're going to try to do some half blank cards and half cards for New Year's. So I appreciate everybody's help and support.
So a note about how perhaps you can use this hand. So for those of us who are Jewish, you know the idea of the mezuzah, that we have a symbol and a reminder on our homes. And we're hoping that you're going to be able to use this hand also in that vein as a reminder of the fight for racial equality, for partnership, for cooperation, for coming together, for joining our hearts and our hands together, and that you're able to use it as a reminder, as that token, just like the mezuzah that we put on our homes, to be able to put it somewhere that allows you to regularly be mindful of and respond to the world with that open heart and that desire to work for a better world. I think that if there's, Bonnie, did you have any other closing remarks that you wanted to make, or are we going to move? Okay, please.
Trying to find them. Sorry. I think they might have got stuck under the ground. So, here. Is that right? Yeah. So I just wanted to thank everybody again. Rabbi Elyssa, especially, thank you so much for asking me to participate in this. It really gave me a chance to start doing work again, which I hadn't really wanted to do before this. So I really appreciate it. And like I said, we're going to be able to make a nice donation to the local chapter of the NAACP. I want to also thank Leora for being the moderator today. It was a great help of us not having, having somebody that was central to making everybody's voices heard. And I hope that this piece of art, when you see it, will help you raise your hand and raise your voices to help those who are suffering today. I hope you'll raise your hand and vote. Please vote for leaders who will make significant and long overdue changes to end racial injustice and to improve people's lives. I take so much for granted. I think we all take so much for granted. This happened to me yesterday, but you know what? It's going to heal. It's going to get better. I was able to get to a doctor and get good health care, and I'm so fortunate with that. So we just can't take those kinds of things for granted in our lives. And I hope and pray that for all of us, that the day will come soon when we can really bring all of our hands together in a spirit of kindness, goodness, and empathy for each other. I have a beautiful quote. Interestingly, when Rabbi Elyssa and I first talked about the outline for this day and how it would go, we spoke on a Friday morning, and I showed her this quote. I read her this quote by John Lewis, and that afternoon I read in the news that he had passed away. And so this quote, I had been reading a lot, and when I came across this quote, it just made me feel hopeful. So I wanted to share it with you today, and then also end by talking about the community dialogue that is happening with the JCBA, a conversation on racial injustice on August 4th at 12 p.m. I hope everybody will tune into that. And we have this quote, can't see it. We have this quote from John Lewis on the screen if someone wants to read it. Does anybody want to read it?
I can read it.
Okay.
You are a light. You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. By John Lewis.
I think we can all say amen to that. Absolutely. Thank you. And especially the biggest thank you goes to Bonnie for really having the vision of what this project could become and what it will continue to become. And I look forward to seeing how it unfolds in the future and is brought to more communities, to open our hearts to hope and not just focusing on the challenge and the difficulty that we're in, but that there is the possibility for moving forward and having change. So thank you, Bonnie, for the project.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you. I cannot tell you how appreciative I am to be a part of this. I really wanted to read the quote by John Lewis, but it's not covering the screen.
Oh.
Yeah. But it sounded great. It is great. I know he's smiling. He's smiling.
Thank you, Delphinia. Thank you for
like you, Bonnie. People like you, he lifts us up.
Thank you, Delphinia. So true. Thank you. We're
welcome.
going to end by Hazan Matt singing the prayer of Adon Olam. Can everybody see that on the screen? Okay.
So if you can join me, this is Adon Olam, which to Jews is a familiar hymn that closes our service every Shabbat, and that also is traditional in the morning. And we'll sing to the traditional, another traditional hymn tune, Amazing Grace. And please sing with me. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem kol yetzir hivra le'nasa b'chefzo kol azay melech shemo yikra V'yacharei kichlot hakol Levado yimloch nora Vehu haya vehu hove Vehu yeh betipara Vehu echad bin sheni Lehamshilo lehachbira Beli reishit beli tachlit Belo ha'oz ve'hamisra Vehu eini v'chai goali בצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנקוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אפקיר רוחי, בעת אישן מהירה, ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא.
And I just want to read the very last paragraph in the English of Adon Olam. I place my soul within God's palm before I sleep as when I wake. And though my body I forsake, rest in the Lord in fearless calm. It's an interpretive translation there. But again, we have that symbolism of not just our human hands, but God's ever-present hand being with us. Bonnie, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody who helped.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in this. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Rabbi.
Bonnie.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was wonderful, wonderful. Oh,
Make sure you send me your pictures.
okay, I'm gonna go grout.
Don't forget.
Did that one wipe off? Okay, look how pretty. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Ellen. Ellen.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Bonnie and Rabbi and Kazan.
Oh, good seeing you.
Thank you,
guys.
Rachel. Thank you for coming. Leah, that looks beautiful. I love your split screen.
Thank you. It's all thanks to Michael.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Michael,
He's
too.
my computer whiz.
Okay.
Great to see everyone.
Hi,
I cannot-
guys. Be well, be
Right, that's
well.
all I got.
Be well. Take care.
Thank you, Bonnie. It was wonderful.
Thank you. I'll get you the grout, Debbie. Don't worry.
Oh,
I'm not worried.
Bye.
I know, you saw Mike, did you, Mike? Did you see, Sarah, did you see Josh's, you saw his muted Mondays?
That is so cool.
Sarah's still there?
Yeah, those Mute Mondays are great fun.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun to hear